Okay, we now go with Harsh. No, that was Harsh Kapoor, right? Yeah. We now go with Saint. Says, I'm a 3D character artist and my goal is to get hired at a studio. I have been watching your videos a lot recently and they helped a lot. Awesome, let's take a look. So his name is Mihailo Andonović from Serbia, Belgrade. Nice. Okay, so first thing I see some character and creature work, and unfortunately the first thing that I also see is that it seems that you only have one complete character. What do I mean by that one complete character? That you only have one character that goes through the full production pipeline, meaning retopology and textures, in this case Ahsoka. We're gonna take a look. Let me just answer some question here. Rohan, all good, man, all good, but it's we have a lot of portfolios to go through, so I'm not gonna be able to see all of the questions. I usually tend to use detailed procedural textures and bake them out for UV mapping. Is that worth mentioning in my portfolio? Yes, I mean, any skill that gives you a nice result is worth mentioning. If it's not a skill that's making your stuff looks good, because I've seen people who tell me, I always decimate my characters and never do UVs. Should I mention that? No, don't mention that. But you should learn how to do proper retopology and UVs, because otherwise you're not going to be able to fit it on a pipeline. So, Xenomorph. Anatomy is not bad. There's a couple of things that I would definitely fix. Bakes look a little bit on the low poly side of things, and I hate this render, Mihailo. And again, remember, this is not against you. It's not that I hate this piece, it's just that I hate the render. Why do I hate the render? Because it has this very obvious spotlights or area lights on the head, just like bouncing off the whole thing. There's no HDRI, so we're not getting any sort of like global illumination. I'm not sure. Blender. Okay, so if you're in Blender, there's no reason not to use the new EV 4.2, which has like the realistic sky. There's no reason not to use cycles, for instance, to get something a little bit nicer. There's no reason not to use subsurface scattering. So all of these things that I'm mentioning, I have videos on the YouTube on how to do them. I have videos on how to do good renders inside of Blender, because it's not a bad character per se, but you're not showing it off to the best of its potential. Okay. The turtle, Charlie from God of War. Forms, my friend. We need to work on the forms. All of this are very muddy forms, right? Like even the nose right here. What do I mean by forms? When we're taking a look at a sculpt, it's very important that we understand that every single thing is supported by bones, muscles, tissues, and if we don't see that form being described on your sculpt, like for instance here, like if we really don't see that curvature of the nose going around, if we don't really see how the eyelids and everything sort of like connects together, it's very difficult to get a character that looks nice. Yes, you have a lot of detail, you added a lot of scales here and here and here, but the forms are not there, so it really doesn't show. It just looks like a very bland base where you added a lot of like details, like high frequency detail, but the underlying form of the character is not there. So we need to work a little bit more on making sure that those forms stand out and that you can see the difference. If you don't want to go through the whole retopology process for the character, yes, this is again, Mihailo, and guys, again, this is for everyone. Don't give me a really cool shot like this one right here, like a clay render that looks very nice, and then a very ugly thumbnail. And if I click on the thumbnail, make sure that the first image that I see is a cool image like this one. Like this is your best image from all of the images that you have here on this turtle. This one right here, I would say it's the one that catches the most attention because it has a little bit of contrast, because it has a little bit of shadows. It's a marmoset render. So make sure this is your thumbnail. This will get you more views. It will get you more impact on whoever's watching your portfolio than some of this like shots from ZBrush. But again, you do need to work a little bit on the forms, Mihailo. This one's very good. I like this. Again, from a thumbnail perspective, this one looks good. It's eye-catching. And the sculpt's not bad. It's a good sculpt. Again, a couple of animations, especially there on the legs. I hate the boots, man. I hate the boots. Because again, remember, I'm saying this not to make you feel bad, but because this is what people see. I see this armor right here, and I'm like, that's nice. I could definitely see this again in like Elden Ring or like in a game. Like this could work. Retopologize a couple of like textures and we're good to go. Even though some of the forms are a little bit on the chunky side of things, it looks good. Like I could definitely see this in the game. But then I go down here and I see the armor pieces that you did right here, and they look so lazy, man. So lazy. It's just like a very big plate, like a very big cylinder, and just like random like wrinkles all over the place. Especially here on the backside, it just looks like really, really bad. Look at that. You can see them right there. And that's a very common thing when people are doing full characters. They will put more attention to specific parts or to the parts that they think are more important. And you need to show that you have the discipline as an artist to make sure that from the very first tip of the hair all the way to the toe of the feet, every single part of your character is done right. Okay? So very, very important to do that, my friend. Sir, one question. If any artists do only realistic characters, then he makes any stylized character or creature from... No, it's not that it's going to be an issue. There's a very famous quote that says that you need to use the proper bait to catch the proper fish, right? So if your portfolio, like, and I hate using my portfolio for this, but it's probably the best comparison right now. So if you take a look at my portfolio, most of my stuff is within the sort of like semi-realistic stuff. I don't go for photoreal. I've never been a photoreal guy, but I like to go for like realistic-ish characters. I don't have any sort of like stylized or cartoony characters. So can I send my portfolio to Disney to get hired? Well, not for the next Toy Story movie, but maybe for the next like Star Wars series or something like that, my portfolio could be a fit. So if your portfolio doesn't show the kind of work that you want to get hired for, that's going to be complicated. And the same thing, if your portfolio shows some type of work that you don't want to get hired for, people might call you. Like if I show a lot of, I don't know, environments. Like I have a couple of environments, right? So if my portfolio is full with environments and I want to be a character artist, I'm only going to be getting calls or messages about my environment art, not the character stuff, because I have more environments. So you do need to tailor your portfolio to the kind of position that you want to fulfill in a project. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult, right? What do you think of the future games Sweden? I'm not sure. Is that a studio, or do you mean what do I think about the industry in games in Sweden? Because I'm not really acquainted to that kind of information. Give me 1 second. There. Okay. How many finished arts we must? I would suggest like at least 5. My go-to number is about 5. Okay, so this is a good detail on the skin. I still don't love the forms. I feel like they could be a little bit better on the character. I don't love the illumination either. It's a little bit overexposed. And if this is a game character, man, especially if you're doing in Marmoset, you might want to try using the Marmoset viewer. Like, just upload the model so that we can see the topology, we can see the bakes, and we can see those sort of things, okay? So yeah. I mean, it's a good character. I don't see the full character, though, so I'm not sure if this is just a bust, if you did the whole character or not. Anatomy on the arms looks nice. Looks definitely better than the other one that we saw. And textures are a little bit better. Again, I don't love this ones right here. I don't really like the sort of like random effects, because it seems like either you just use some sort of like procedural leather inside of like the texturing thing, or you didn't go and actually texture every single like wrinkle in ZBrush. Oh, is it? I'm not sure, Lemon Soup. I'm really not sure, because I'm not like familiarized with the industry in Sweden specifically. But in general, Europe does have a little bit more opportunities than Mexico, for instance. No, clay renders is not a problem. Clay renders are not a problem in Kunal. Bad clay renders are a problem, okay? So when the clay render, or you just have like a screenshot from ZBrush, like we mentioned a couple of portfolios ago, that's when things can get a little bit like it's not ideal. It's not ideal, because you could always just spend a little bit of time making a good clay render. And I have a video on the YouTube channel about how to do that.